Hello dear Ronins, welcome to Ronin Hood. Today it will be a special episode about Fruit Ninja 2, the BladeMan Tomato Challenge. So he sent me this proposal on Instagram with other person, like you can see someone who is really famous, as Shogo, you have Hussein Eric, and a good cutter, and you have of course CW98. His channel is really good channel on YouTube. Also, his name is Namasu. You will find the Namasu channel or YouTube if you want. So the challenge is looks really simple, but it's absolutely not. It's a really high level difficult challenge. You have to drop a tomato from 1 meter higher than your head on level 1, and you have to cut it with a nukiochi of Kesa. Level 2, you have to drop the tomato from 20 centimeters higher than your head on nukiochi of Suihei. And level 3, you just drop from the level of your head the tomato, and you make a Gyaku Kesa nukiochi. So it's really difficult, like really difficult. It depends on 3 things that we will talk about, and I was not really good in my challenge, but I will improve, and I wanted to talk about every specificities of this challenge. One is the drop. It has to be on the good height, and 2, the good distance from your swords to arrive on the point of cut. For me, even that, it was difficult. Just making the drop, it's really, for me, difficult. I trained for 1 or 2 weeks, and it was difficult. Of course, on level 2 and level 3, the drops for me are like extremely difficult, more than level 1. The second thing is not the way of making nukiochi, that is Kesa, Suihei, or Gyaku Kesa. If you already practice this as a battojustu or iaidoka, it will be just normal. But because of the fast, your posture has to be really long to have a preset of drawing that won't make you risk to get stuck with your swords, exploding your saya and cutting your hand and fingers, because this is extremely dangerous and can cause injury or worse. So for that, with a shinken, you need to be, I think, a really high level, like 10 or 15 years of iaijutsu or battodo, because battodo is more focused on cutting objects like omote or bamboo. And I really recommend to practice that only if you're an expert or high level. I thought I was ready, and I was not, because it's absolutely not like omote. I can cut omote with nukiochi with my actual skills. They are not perfect. I have to improve many things, and that's why we are making this episode, to talk about what I have to improve and what we all can improve with a iaito and not with a shinken. So please don't try this at home if you are not an expert, and even with an expert with this fast, there is a risk to cut your saya and to cut your left hand. So please don't try it. You can make it with a piece of paper and a iaito, like we will do together in the next episode of Ronin Hood. So the first thing is the drop. For me, it was difficult to drop with the proper height and the proper distance from the point of cut of the sword. It was too close from me, like 50 centimeters, 70 centimeters, but an arm and a sword is almost 1 meter 50 centimeters, so it was not the proper distance. And the second thing, the height was not so great. I was always having a height of the level 1, so it was not so good. But what was the worst was the second point. My posture was too closed. It has to be an open posture, an open, large and long posture that can make to draw out the sword without any effort and without your tip or just 20 centimeters of the final part of the sword's blade will be stuck and will cut your saya and your fingers of your left hand. So this is the worst thing that I did. Hopefully I was compensating with my entire body instinctively, and with my upper part getting in front horizontally, I was avoiding the worst. I took a really light sword, the Sea Wave, and it was a good idea. I think even for a master or an expert in battodo, having a saya with a buffalo horn on the koiguchi, kurigata and kojiri is really important, especially on koiguchi, in the case of it could have an accident. So everything has to be perfect at this level of skill, this level of fast. And I repeat, the drop is really important because my drop was not correct. I was trying to draw out the swords at a too short distance that was increasing the risk of damaging the saya. So that is really not correct. My stances was too close and was not enough open and not long as it should be for instinctive half than a second draw. And I was practicing a way that is closer than Katori Shinto-ryu with a tsuka that is far from the obi, that increase lots of speed when you make nuki-uchi or katategeri. And the thing is, it is not good for this exercise because the koiguchi has to be really ready, so close from the obi to be used instinctively, instantly and instinctively. So I was successful for cutting tomatoes. I had like 19 tomatoes at least cut, or a bit more, but it was like 19. I spent 2 or 3 hours in the forest for making these cuts, but the results in matter of safety and correct posture, it is absolutely not good from me on this performance. So from all this not correct aspect, I'm talking about what I could improve for next time, because I think it's an excellent exercise for iaito with a piece of paper, like we will see in the next episode. So the thing is, just with a level 1 for the dropping, it is difficult if you cut on nuki-uchi of kesa, suihei or gyaku kesa, because you have to focus on an object that is moving in the space. And this is really difficult because it keeps like 90% of my attention. I was like totally focused, because if for 1/2 of a second you just look at another object in the space or you think to another thing, you will just lose the point of cut, the tomato that is constantly moving. So it is really not easy at all. But like I said, it's not like omote cutting test, and it's really interesting for improving adaptation of a technique that require a static posture. And with this fast, it was really interesting. The second thing was about after the dropping and the opening of the posture and the long posture, and searching the object with the eyes constantly. It requires a really intense focus. So that was really interesting. The fact that you have to prepare your koiguchi ready close from your obi, it is also interesting. But what was amazing of this challenge, it was to be able to cut with a back leg. That means that your legs is getting back behind you, and you open your stance and you make nuki-uchi in the same time. That was really new because I have the habit to advance my front leg and to make nuki-uchi with omote, but this time it was in the opposite stance. It was with my back leg moving back behind me. So it was really new for me, and understanding the purpose of security with having a koiguchi really close from the obi and the proper stance. But not only. The other thing was the proper line cut with your tsuka and your hands, and stopping on after like 120 degrees, stopping on your side, your right side, you stop your movement. For example, with suihei, that was really interesting to understand and to improve my explosion of power of cutting with a close distance, like I was trying to do with araki, with two stance, if you have seen the episode with the review of araki from Yaino Enzo. So that was really interesting to have a powerful line cut in a short distance. I would say like there is 90 degrees, because between the moment the sword is just drawing out, your movement is finalized, there is just 90 degrees angle. So that's it for today. It was an extremely intense experience of focus. I will show you next time for you if you want to practice this with a iaito, a non-sharp sword, with a piece of paper, because I think it can really improve your battodo cut. I hope you liked this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay focused, mind sharp and body healthy, and see you soon for the next episode on Ronin Hood.